And good afternoon, or evening, or morning, whatever time of the day it is for you. Welcome back to Speed Gaming. We are back with more Link to the Past Randomizer League action. Still in week one action between Friday will do an interview if we win and the Super Salty Dungeoneers. I am Cool Papa Bell 2282, and alongside me is my co-commentator Tyler Salt. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you, CPB?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to see some rando.
Absolutely. So this is a week one match. If you hadn't had a chance to tune in to the league yet, there are a whopping 64 teams in the league, 8 divisions of 8 teams each. This is a match in the Village of Outcasts division. We've got Gem versus Sawneyrath11. This is the second match between these two teams. We can talk about the previous ones a little bit later. But week one is a pretty bog standard 7-7 open defeat Ganon seed. Pretty much the most basic mode that we have here in randomizers. And we should be getting going here in just a minute.
And as you mentioned, Faramir will give an interview, did take the first game in this matchup, so Gem is looking to complete the sweep for them, whereas Sawneyrath is looking for some vengeance, and looks like our runners are going to get started.
Divergence right away as Gem finds the Moon Pearl in Sanctuary. Always nice to have that in hand early on. Sawneyrath headed up to Uncle, maybe to escape. We'll see.
And 3 regular crystals in the light world as we got that quick map check from Gem.
Always love to see that. More pendant dungeons in the dark world, the better. That's what I say.
I'm sure our runners will be happy about that as well, since those light world dungeons tend to go a bit faster.
Oh, I love that 20 rupee tree pull, tier 1. Gem will be happy to see that.
And Gem also showing us this lumberjack item right away. Did not see what that was, but...
I didn't catch it either.
Might have been the shadow of a rupee, I'm not sure. Ooh, finding a sword there also in the Lost Woods hideout. Very nice.
Always love to see that early. Just makes everything flow a little bit better. Yep, confirmed that is a big 20 on a lumberjack lens, so we won't be seeing that again.
And so a little bit non-traditional route from Gem here, finding that sword but no bombs along the north side of the world, opting to instead head toward Uncle and probably front of Escape, now that we have a reliable weapon. This, of course, you're usually hoping to be sure that you're well equipped with bombs and cash and everything that you need to fully clear Kakariko. And if you find a flute or something like that, or a bottle along the way, you can make those extra checks in Kakariko your first trip there, which is always nice.
Yeah, I always tend to be a Kakariko early sort of person, but I get the argument to do that. Well, Gem certainly knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's taking advantage of some extra big 20 tree poles as well. The other thing that's really common to do in that situation is just save and quit and head from Link's house across to Kakariko and pick up a couple of bombs from bushes along the way. But Gem opting for the full front of Escape clear.
Yeah, and Sawneyrath, with no bombs but plenty of rupees, is going to head right into Kakariko and buy 10 bombs from the shop here. By the way, I appreciate in the chat, Gem's teammate on Friday will give an interview if we win, Ack the Boker, openly rooting for Gem's opponent for fantasy. It's very good. Gem finds the mirror in the first chest in Escape. Always love to have that early myself. Just makes getting around a lot easier. And there are the flippers in the back of Kakariko well for Sawneyrath.
So both runners finding some helpful progression. Flippers, of course, will put all of those Zora waterfall area checks in logic. Mirror is maybe pointing us toward an early Death Mountain trip to get up to Tower of Hera.
The magic powder there in Blind's hut. My personal favorite safety item to get.
And some actual hearts in this seed. Anybody who watched the Yodonashi versus Ridley Dragon race last night will be excited to see our runners actually having some health for a change.
Yeah, definitely some nice peace of mind early on. Oh, throws the chicken in. Very good.
Do people get bonus fantasy points for chicken clip? Because if not, that seems like an oversight.
It definitely does seem like an oversight. I don't think so. I'm actually not playing fantasy. I do enjoy watching all of the discussion of it, though. It's good. There's some blue mail in the back of the pub, stealing somebody's clothes there.
I mean,
Nice
you leave
little
your
high
shirt
five
in the
there.
back of a bar, you shouldn't expect to get it back.
Oh, Sawneyrath's Sprite is a can of soda, and so it was a Sprite can, and now it is a Pepsi can. I see. A Sprite. Very good.
Yeah, it's a good one.
The blind race game play from Sawneyrath will lend just a piece of heart, so he'll save and quit out of there.
And I would suspect South Shore is calling to Sawneyrath with those flippers. Although a little bit short of Zora money at this moment.
I think a lot of bit short of Zora money at the moment.
Just a smidge. So Gem retracing those steps in Kakariko, but Sawneyrath is showing us some new stuff over along the South Shore.
And that is a very soggy boomerang. Sawneyrath's going to pick it up. I like that. Boomerang gets disrespected in Rando a lot, but I think it's pretty helpful in certain cases.
And looks like Sawney is going to check the stun prize right away.
Small magic, not the best stun prize there. You're really hoping for bombs or a full magic drop or 20 rupees. You go into mini Moldorm, don't call me hype cave.
Yeah, small magic will be could come in handy in emergencies though if you're desperately out of magic, but not anyone's favorite stun prize.
We get a bottle there in Mini Moldorm, but that is it. A little bit of a bust today. We've got the lamp on Lake Hylia Island. Important to keep that in mind.
So that's going to be pretty good news for our runners. That means they will not have to do Agadim for Dark World access, since they would not be able to reach that lamp to put Agadim in Logic until they have that Dark World access.
That is a good catch. So, sayonara, Aghanim, you get to live to fight another day. As we get the Ether Medallion from this fine gentleman under the bridge. Not any progression there, but nice to have. Chances are, well, with 3 pendants in the Dark World, we very well might not need any of the medallions, but they're good to have.
I don't quite understand the mechanics of this soda can swimming, but we'll just roll with it.
Lots of very tiny, tiny hands. Chat, you're welcome for that mental image. The can floats exactly to where it needs to go, and it can carry a shield, so more points for the hands theory. There's actually a steady stream of Mentos being pushed into the can, and that is how it propels itself through the water.
That would do it. That makes sense. That totally makes sense to me now.
Looks like Sawneyrath is going to go. He save and quit out of the hobo, but is going to go up and at least check Waterfall Ferry and the Zora Ledge. Does not have Zora money, but we'll be able to get these other checks out of the way.
Yeah, Gem is also short of Zora money, so looks like neither runner will be able to do that right now.
Looks like Sawneyrath made the right call as he finds the power gloves in Waterfall Ferry. Now you're playing with power. That's a reference to the Nintendo film The Wizard from my childhood. Shoutouts to The Wizard.
Rad Racer tourney on Speed Gaming win.
We did see the Cane of Samaria up there on the Zora Ledge, so Sawneyrath will head over and grab that, even though he does not have the money for the King of Scams. Looks like Gem is headed straight up Death Mountain. This old man cave is pretty easy to do in the dark.
Gem has not made it to Waterfall Ferry
that's a good
get
point,
that glove yet.
Yeah. But is farming some money there. That's pretty smart to do that right there on that tree pole, since you know both. That's very good. Sawneyrath appears to be headed into escape, and so he will get his mirror shortly.
Yeah, very heads-up play from Gem here to farm in this way. Looks like he's going to go check Sick Kid while he's in the area, maybe? Oh, no, he's just going to hop back through this whirlpool. Wow, this is not one that you use very often outside of NMG, so yeah. Really heads-up on the fly routing from Gem.
Yeah, really, really good game knowledge there. Gem will be able to show us what King Zora has on sale today for 500 big ones. If he can manage to open that chest.
Yeah, chest turns, everyone's favorite trick that saves you 1 frame but costs you like 10 if you miss it.
Swag strats are best strats.
And swag nets are best nets.
Obviously. King Zora has on sale today a life lesson. Don't give money to fish.
All right, so at this point our runners are pretty even. They've kind of covered the same ground as each other. Only difference is Jem spent that extra time farming for that Zora money. So we'll have that check crossed off the list. And I would not be surprised to see both runners in back of escape at the same time. Oh, Sawny is going to do the Dark Cross trip.
I suppose that's worth a shot. Don't have the key yet, but if you're gonna, you can save and quit anyway. Head right back up to Sanctuary and take care of the back. As Jem heads straight into the back of escape, we will see what is behind this abominable wall. We got the map, the heart, piece of heart, and the key. So that last item is going to be in Dark Cross. We'll see if Sawneyrath can manage to grab it before Jem as they both head into the dark. So good luck figuring out what's going on now, folks, as both players are in the dark.
Yep, Sawny is in the Dark Cross room right now. It was just rupees in that chest, so.
All right.
And there we see that ether actually is coming in handy for Jem, freezing those enemies and giving yourself a visual cue for where the heck you are in these rooms.
Another really good play there. Sawneyrath had originally save and quit to Link's house, but looks like that was a mistake. Headed to do back of escape right now, following in Jem's footsteps.
So
if you're watching, I was to say, if you're watching and you're wondering what is up with Sawneyrath's colors, the randomizer lets you set your own, or lets you do a palette swap option if you haven't played it. So that's probably what he is doing there. Sawneyrath heads up, knows that the key has to be in that final chest, and so nopes out of there. Jem headed over towards Eastern Palace and Sahasrara, and Sawneyrath headed over there as well.
Yeah, I was about to say, logically speaking, we're down to pretty much Eastern and Gina's Cave are the only options we have left. I guess we haven't seen Sick Kid yet either.
Right, and then they're not in logic yet, but of course, either of these runners is going to be well able to head up to Dark Mountain, do the Old Man Cave in the dark, get up to Tower of Hera, although without a fire source, Tower Hera is not full clearable. Jem finds a bow there in Sahasrara's closet. The big question here is, where is our Dark World access? Both our runners hoping it is here in Eastern. We are looking for the hammer or the Titan's mitts here.
Yeah, interesting that we have the bow, because the back of Eastern Palace, finishing the dungeon again, will not be in logic probably, unless we find the fire rod in here, since we know that lamp is stuck on the Lake Hylia Island. But again, I don't think either of our runners will have too much trouble with doing these Eastern Palace dark rooms to finish off the dungeon right now.
Certainly not the front one. The back one can be a little bit tricky if you're not used to it, but I imagine these runners... Oh, well, there are the Titan's mitts there for Jem. Jem has Dark World access at 18 minutes and some seconds.
Yep, that ends the suspense on that real fast.
So, Aghanim lives to fight another day. Officially not going to be required in this seed.
I was going to say, too, the ether medallion.
Oh,
might
and there
come in
are the...
handy. Whoa!
Excuse me to interrupt. Those are the boots. Gem gets to go a little fast now.
Absolutely. This seed being very generous to our runners early on.
Chat pointing out that Aghanim actually might be required depending on some other items that we need, but we'll it's the lowest of chances.
Yeah, well, I think we're down to just Hammer and Pyramid Fairy requiring Aghanim, so. But yeah, I was just going to say that Ether Medallion might come in handy again in these back Eastern Dark Rooms, again, just to get a look at where those enemies are and make them hold still while you kill them.
Gem picks up the key. Sawneyrath maybe not realizing that hints are off in every league mode. Sawneyrath not confident with that back of Eastern room. Knows he's got all of the items out of Eastern, so he'll nope out and come back and finish that later.
Yeah, and Sonny, assuming they'll be back in the area later to do Palace of Darkness anyway, and we'll be able to just mirror to that. Now, they might actually not end up in pod if it's pendant and the seed is extremely generous before they get there, but ooh, rewarded with the flute right away with that first check with the boots.
That is very, very nice to have. We have, at this point, I believe all of the mobility items you would want, except for maybe the hook shot, but we are doing very well. Should be flying around this seed now. And that is Death Mountain access as well, logically. Oh man, show me a bottle and I will give you 50 rupees. That is a heck of a deal.
I believe Sawneyrath did leave behind this King's Tomb, though, that Gem is checking right now.
Just a big 20, though, so we'll see if Sawneyrath even goes back there.
And our runners now have plenty to do in the Dark World. I see pendants at the corners there, Ice Mire and Turtle Rock, with crystals. Pod and Swamp. Yeah, our red crystals.
Those are some great pendant dungeons to have. Ice, Mire, and Turtle Rock. Yep, and with both red crystals requiring the hammer, Aga is super alive this seed.
And so yeah, our runners have lots of options now in the Dark World. We'll probably see just the sort of standard South Loop. They have the option to go into Thieves Town right now or not. Runners very often like to put that off until you have the hammer, just because you hate to have to go back for the big chest at some point. But with the mitts and the mirror, the Smith's Chain is all open, and the flute will help out with routing all of that, of course.
We get our next bottle there in the brewery. The bottleable hut, if you will. It looks like Sawny is at least going to dip the front of Thieves Town. Gonna hope to not find that small key. There's one item in the front of Thieves Town, a full heart container. Sawneyrath, not taking the route through Thieves Town that I would have taken, but you know, do what you are. Get to the same place. Oh, there's that small key. Big key will be in the next chest. That means that big chest in the basement of Thieves Town is going to be in play. Still might not have an item, might have the map in there. We still haven't seen that. That's what both of our runners will be hoping for, absent finding the hammer. Oh no, Gem with the double bonk there. People mentioning, we point out the bonks because bonks can hurt you in fantasy for the league. Of course, the first 10 bonks are free. Every bonk over 10 is what costs 2 points. So apologies to people who drafted me for my 24 bonks in my race last night.
And I guess there's that little thing that bonks slow you down and, you know, cost you time and whatnot, but that doesn't matter as much as the fantasy points, right?
Obviously not. Let's keep our priorities in order.
And oh my god, Coke Gaming, Sawneyrath finding the red mail.
Oh, and Gem noped out and is not going to finish Thieves Town. Gem just 2 digs to get that piece of heart. Nope. Head right out of there. Head over to do the South Dark World loop.
So yeah, Gem just not wanting to risk that hammerless Thieves Town.
He's going to turn in the Smith chain while he's doing the South Dark World checks. Oh, there is that 4th item in Thieves Town, so the hammer not required for Thieves Town. We've got some dwarven counterfeiters that are, though, 50 rupees for Gem's trip. Oh, my bad. I thought there were 2 items in the front. No, you're right. There is one more. So there is an item in that, in the big chest of Thieves Town. I missed.
Well, the map could always be in there if the last item is on blind, so.
That is true. And there it is. There's the bombs on blind. So the hammer, the big chest, not required. The map will be in there.
All right, so that gamble paying off for Sawney. Gets his first crystal of the seed as Gem is now moving around the Smith chain. You may have noticed that Gem left the purple chest behind. This is an extremely easy glitch that Gem is about to do. You just kind of leave the chest behind in the dark world somewhere. And I think, I've been told, as long as Gary is on screen when you mirror, you can just turn in the purple chest as if you actually had it.
Very convenient. Nice to not have to carry around that chest. Gem is heading over to Tripe Cave. We'll see what's in there this season.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could just dash around at will and not have to worry about leaving that chest behind.
Some bombs in Hype Cave. Some more bombs. Some more bombs. Piece of heart. piece of heart. That is a full-on 0 out of 10, maybe a -2 out of 10 Hype Cave. So both Hype Cave and Mini Moldorm Cave not giving up the goods this seed. Jem headed over to Lake Hylia Island to pick up his lamp, presumably.
Yeah, and assuming he is headed over to Pod next, this is just right on the way, since you've got to swim over in the position that they're in right now to get to Palace of Darkness.
Well done, chat. Hype Cave, or How I Learned to Love the Bomb.
Interesting. Sawneyrath taking a little risk here. Going to check out the magic powder. This is in logic with mirroring to that drop down.
Just a piece of heart. Misery Mire is going to require Quake, the Cake Medallion, of course. There's the Arrow of Destiny and more bombs in the Mire Shed.
So yeah, the downside for Sawney checking the magic bat in this way is that then you lose access to that Dark World portal, unfortunately.
Jem is headed into Desert, which is a crystal dungeon and is full clearable with the boots and the lamp in hand now. Big key right there on the torch.
And Jem is hoping to never come back to this part of the world since he can clear out everything except Misery Mire at this point. But with that being a pendant, you're hoping to not have to dip it. Ooh, Master Sword in the map chest of Desert Palace.
One more item left in Desert Palace. Jem's hoping it's right here. It's not. It's the compass. 50-50 shot. It's here. And there it is. It's a big 20. That's all the items out of Desert. Jem will mirror out and head to Landmolus. As Sawneyrath is doing some checks that we've seen already, and Jem's making his way to Landmo, we can tell you once again that this is week 1 of the ALTTPR League Season 2. This match between Sawneyrath11 and Jem of teams Super Salty Dungeoneers and Farame will give an interview if we win. My name is Tyler Salt. Also on comms with me are Cool Papa Bell 2282. This is a 7-7 open seed. Next week, we will be moving on to what's known as an Ambrosia seed. It's a relatively new preset here. It's a standard seed, so they'll go through the escape section, like you would do in the vanilla game. When you wake up, the boots will spoil the uncle will spoil the boots location, and in every dungeon, there's guaranteed to be an item of some kind on the boss, and not just a dungeon item. As Jem takes on Landmolus here.
Also, good time to shout out our tracker for today, MathGirl718. Thank you very much for keeping track of what our runners have found for us. As Jem is doing...
Button, yep. Pushing buttons with the best of them. Sorry.
Absolutely. Jem doing the NMG plus fight here, mostly using the bow, but with that Master Sword.
That can be a tricky fight to get your timing. As it lands that last arrow. Nice job there. For crystal number 2 with Jem. Oh. Big old jerk move to his fantasy owners. Throwing in that swag bunk.
He was just lining up for the crystal drop. It's a legit strat.
Saves frames, man. Again, if you're also if you are not familiar with the league, the way the structure is, there are 64 teams of 3 runners, each in 8 divisions of 8. This is a match week 1 of the Village of Outcasts division in the Dark World Conference, I suppose. The other members of Super Salty Dungeoneers are Siberian Bull 9 and Dark Rid 12. The other members of Frame will do an interview with If We Win are Korek and main tournament runner-up Ak the Boker. Notably missing from that team is Frame.
Yeah, I have zero insight as to how the team Farame will do an interview. If we win, we'll try and force Farame to do an interview if he's no longer on the team. But you'll have to take that up with them, I guess.
Jem giving us our first look up to Death Mountain. There's East Death Mountain, not quite available yet. We still need the hammer or the hook shot to make it up there. But Tower of Hera, full clearable crystal dungeon at this point.
Yeah, so both of our runners sort of had the same thought of trying to put off this Death Mountain trip until they could do kind of everything up here, but Jem has decided that can't put it off any longer, since there just might be a hammer or a hook shot up here somewhere.
Yeah, it's basically this or Pendant Pod or dipping into Skull Woods at this point without a fire rod. So I get this up here. You get to a crystal dungeon you can full clear. You're going to take that every time. Pod is not a pendant, I'm sorry. But still not full clearable anyway.
Yeah, and there's a couple of one-off checks that nobody likes, like Catfish and Graveyard Ledge, those sorts of things. So this is just a lot more appealing, because worst case scenario is you just come up here and get your crystal out of Tower of Hera and then go resume your exploration of the main part of the Dark World.
Yeah, just to clarify, I misspoke. Pod is not a pendant. Pendants are Ice Palace, Mire, and Turtle Rock. Jem finds the Hera Big Key in the very first chest and a heart container there. So Jem is headed up the tower. No hook shot, no Hera pot today.
So yeah, one item already out of Tower of Hera.
Jem will line up for this bomb jump to get over to the big chest. First try. There's the small key. You never want to see that in Hera.
Yep, and we do have a fire source, so Jem might be taking that coffee break here in a minute if Moldorm does not have the last item.
Three Master Sword spins is enough to take down Moldorm 1. Very, very smooth fight for Jem for a bottle. That second item in Hera.
So, yep, the basement is trash, but that means Death Mountain has no progression for us. So
where are we looking here? We're going to be looking Pyramid Ledge, Catfish, could be Skull Woods, Graveyard Ledge. Those are our spots that we haven't seen.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, our only access to the Dark World is through this portal in Kakariko Village. So I think Jem's probably just going to run along the north side of the Dark World, pick up, Graveyard Ledge, Catfish, etc. on the way to pod. It's kind of
That
the
makes
best
the
way
most
to
sense.
route together lots of checks.
Agreed.
Oh, Jem is also looking at this Magic Bat check.
When you're looking for the hammer, there's really can't think of a better time to do that than right now.
Jem might also go ahead and clear Thieves Town while he's in the area as well.
Sawneyrath headed into his landmo fight. We'll see how he fares with that.
All right, so Sonic getting through that landmo fight as well, collecting his second crystal of the seed. And looks like Jem has given in and is going to check the front of Skull Woods. There's sort of only so long that you can put off these checks that you think, oh, I don't want to do Skull Woods without Fire Rod, etc. And Jem sort of hit that point where you've got to make the checks that are a little bit unpleasant.
Ooh, gets a Wall Master there. That is tough. I don't know why they called it a Wall Master and not a Ceiling Master. There are no walls involved.
I guess a ceiling is just a wall you put on top.
They came out of the walls in Zelda 1. That explains things. It's been a long time since I played Zelda 1. Thank you, chat.
So our runners are pretty much following very similar routing so far, since Sonny is now up on Death Mountain and headed toward his Tower of Hera Crystal. Just had particular dungeons that they opted out of finishing at that particular point in time, but
Jem headed back in to finish off Thieves Town, really trying to put off dipping into pod. It really seems like maybe that might be the answer. You ain't going into pod without the hammer, but that, I believe, is the most item-dense location that we have left. That is accessible to us, logically, that is.
So yeah, Jem is clearly prioritizing those options and has put that hammerless pod dip fairly low on the list relative to finishing a crystal dungeon that you can just about full clear. But yeah, both runners not really showing us anything new since Sony taking a fall there on that Tower of Hera bomb jump, unfortunately.
Yeah, if I miss that, I will go do it the vanilla way the second time. I'm not going to try it twice. Ooh, I don't know that he's close enough. Nope.
He is doing the smart setup, though, of hitting the star on the floor so that you only fall down one floor if you miss this bomb jump, because otherwise you go 2 floors down, which is extremely painful.
Third time's the charm here. Hey, there we go.
Yeah, you saw the bonk there. That extends the window for the bomb jump to work to from 2 pixels to 6, I believe.
We have dueling boss fights here. Sawneyrath taking on Moldorm 1, Gem taking on Blind, and blink and you miss it there. Maybe for both of these fights there. Moldorm going down very easily for Sawneyrath.
Yeah, Sonic definitely playing with fire a little bit there, going close to that middle pit to get that last hit on Moldorm, but saw the opportunity and grabbed it and finished that fight very quickly.
And that was a perfectly executed blind script by Gem, untouched. Blind, of course, if you set up for the script the correct way, he will behave in exactly the same way every time. So we like to say that there is a script for beating that fight.
Gem getting that spin speed off of the stairs out of Thieves Town.
Just a heart container up there on Bumper Ledge. Gem has already done these boots checks, Bonk and King's Tomb, so we'll head over to Graveyard Ledge. We'll see what is above the pods in this seed.
Runners incredibly in sync here at Graveyard Ledge.
The sync is real.
And Sony did skip that front of Skull Woods check as well, so that's a small time save. Since Gem did those and found nothing. And it looks like Pod is going to be the answer unless we get something good off of Catfish or the Pyramid Ledge along the way.
Yeah, chat pointing out the second chest in Swamp also still in Logic. A very, very rude place for the hammer.
Yeah, that's going to be the absolute last location that these runners end up checking, I would bet. Sony is setting up for... Oh, go ahead.
No, that's it. The Catfish today, bribing us to stop throwing things in his circle. There.
And yeah, Sony also picking up some cash, setting up that Houlihan glitch, is going to route that Zora check in at the same time that he goes to Catfish. So... Oh, and very cleverly routed, too. They have left a... Oh, nope. The save and quit killed the portal, I think. That's
then I was distracted by the portal. I didn't see what was on the pyramid, but it seems like nothing is what was on the...
Yeah, Sony was trying to leave a portal there outside of the sanctuary to get back into the Dark World quickly, but a save and quit will kill that portal. Yeah, as chat's pointing out, you have to die in the overworld to be able to keep that portal in place through a sort of restart at the sanctuary. So Sony will have to go through the Kakariko Dark World portal again and then head across the north side of the world. So big key right away in the Palace of Darkness. It is bow locked, but that doesn't bother us since we have the bow.
That's a satisfying room when you hit that god pixel through that little mini hellway there in the basement of...
Yeah, you just sort of dash upwards and somehow the spikes move out of your way if you do it just right.
Got 2 keys so far of the minimum 4 that have to be in the front of Palace of Darkness. Oh, I must have counted the keys because that is the hammer. It is hammer time, so everybody stop. Okay, you can go again.
Yeah, I think that just means there has to be a small key on the bridge chest in sort of the big room in the center.
Right. Yeah, no, I missed that he hadn't checked that.
But yeah, very... I guess a relief to finally find the hammer, but also annoying that it's just been sitting there in pod this whole time. So French vanilla hammer today, but that means Gem will now be able to full clear this dungeon, and now can think about checking a little bit more in Swamp Palace if he wants to dive in there without a hook shot, but more importantly opens up East Death Mountain. So
Gem executes the hammer yump very easily there. That's something I still need to learn. That'll be good. Find some more rupees in the dark maze. How about, chat, how about stop or my mom will shoot?
maybe not one of Sylvester Stallone's finest films.
An all-time great film title, though. All-timer.
That is true. All right, so Gem has cleared out the rest of the back of Pod and did not find anything very interesting back there, but this crystal on Helmosaur, I understand, is pretty good.
We do, in fact, need those. All crystals required to beat this.
I was going to say the hammer yump is not as bad as it seems. You sort of hear the words double pixel perfect, but each one is really only pixel perfect in one direction. You can sort of be as far as you want left and right as long as you're on the right pixel vertically. So it's actually not that bad as tricks in this game go.
That's pretty nice. That's good. I need to work on my my buffering. Is the thing. Get more comfortable with that. It's a good strat to learn. I think one of the reasons I want to play in the league was to give myself the opportunity and the excuse to practice some of these sorts of things that I haven't had a chance to as a player.
Gem getting that very nice one cycle turtle room.
Sawneyrath picks up his hammer as Gem heads into Helmosaur. 17 bonks on the mask with the hammer there. Gem not even bothering to hold out the sword to extend the hammer's hitbox. And down goes Helma King. That is crystal number 4 for Gem.
I was going to say, you saw Gem extending the hammer hitbox with the sword in that second phase, because it's nearly impossible to do it, to hit the gem on Helmosaur's head with the hammer without holding that sword out. But very nicely executed in that last phase, especially.
Correction from chat. Yes, Thieves Town. Gem did beat Thieves Town. It's not up on the tracker. That's why I missed it there. So that's 5 crystals for Gem. As we'll get our first look at East Death Mountain this seed. Whole bunch of items there. 1 in Spiral Cave, 7 in Paradox Cave, 1 maybe on the floating island. We have access to 1 of the 4 items in Hookshot Cave, and 2 items in Super Bunny Cave. Not to mention the ability to dip into a pendant turtle rock, perhaps, depending on what the medallion is. Can't get those number of items you might be able to get out of there. Really depends on the key layout. But yeah, I got to imagine the item that we're really looking for at this point is the hook shot. It's going to be the big one, hook shot or fire rod there. We saw the magic cape up on the floating island.
Yep, and since we have seen Bumper Ledge, that cape, I guess, could be logically required for Spike Cave, potentially.
And Turtle Rock is ether, so Gem's going to go ahead and open that up. We'll see whether or not he decides to dive in.
Yeah, you get a little suspicious about why we got that ether and cane if Turtle Rock is not actually required to beat the seed. And yeah, so you're guaranteed 1 item for sure, or 1 chest for sure out of the front of Turtle Rock if you dip in right now. Fire Rod would definitely open up the rest of the dungeon other than whatever Trinex has. But you can get pretty far in if the keys line up just right, even without Fire Rod.
Just 10 arrows there after a little run in a circle there in Spiral Cave. Hoping for something here in Paradox Cave. Would really love to see that hook shot. That would make Swamp full clearable. Hook shot and Fire Rod. What we need for Go mode at this point. Very smooth Helmosaur fight there for Sawney.
Yeah, finding a nice opening where Helmosaur was just holding still to shoot all those arrows.
Well, we got ourselves a fetch quest from Paradox Cave. There is the mushroom. Gem headed back up the mountain. It certainly seems like he is going to dive into Turtle Rock. Oh, check this first chest, the bonkable chest here in Hookshot Cave. Always love to see the hookshot here. Nope, just a big 20. Oh, is Gem's going to try to hover? Can he do? Nope. Nice try. Another chance. You can do it, Gem. No.
So yeah, Gem. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Gem is going to choose to pick up the cape here.
So yes, is thinking about Spike Cave then at the end of this entire Death Mountain run.
We'll see how this Turtle Rock play turns out for Gem. All going to depend on the key layout. Needs a key in that first chest here, the laser chest, to keep going. And that's a key, but not the kind that we need. So Turtle Rock is Fire Rod locked. Team will nope out of.
So yeah, Spike Cave will be the absolute last thing that Gem has in logic up here on Death Mountain, and we have found big ol' 0.
Yeah, it's really just the mushroom up here. Give ourselves a fetch quest. I imagine that'll be Gem's next stop. Just get flag over. Yes, we have seen Magic Bat from both runners at this point. Oh, and there is the hook shot in Spike Cave.
Oh,
Mountain
goodness.
did pay off eventually.
Yep, just took us a while to get there. Well, I was about to start speculating where Gem was going to go next, but I think that pretty much explains it. He's going to clear out Hookshot Cave here, and then we have another crystal waiting for us in Swamp Palace.
Certainly seems like that's the play. Oh, there's the music. And as soon as I say something, there it goes.
So Hookshot is the intended way of checking all of these chests, as much as Gem was trying to hover it before.
Looks like Gem has a date with Swamp Palace, headed there right now. We'll pick up crystal number 6, and he's got to be hoping for that Fire Rod for Go Mode. Sawney is good for Sawney, making the play to go get that cape. He will head over to Spike Cave next and pick up, or at least eventually, I don't know what he'll do it next, but he'll pick up his hook shot there in Spike Cave.
Yeah, and I think the Fire Rod just about has to be here for Gem. I mean, Ice Palace is not accessible. I guess we could get something like, Book, and then Fire Rod's on one of the tablets. We're going to open up the Pyramid Fairy after Gem finishes this, and then there are the 2 items in Misery Mire. But Gem has pretty much ruled out a lot of places where that Fire Rod could be by just clearing everything else where that he can reach right now.
Yeah, we could still see, I suppose we could see either of the other medallions here. Quake would get us into Misery Mire, and Bombos would get us into Ice Palace. So Fire Rod could still be in there if we see the Bombos medallion in here.
So, of course, you always have the choice of if you want to do the left side of Swamp or not, but you've got to expect Gem is going to head straight toward the back and avoid that left side of Swamp, if at all possible.
Yeah, I go back and forth on this, whether I want to just clear it out first. I gather that doing the back first does save a handful of seconds since you can mirror out, but something is almost certainly have to be here.
Yeah, I think in this situation, though, when you're 1 item from Go Mode, you don't really want to commit that time to the left side of Swamp until you have to, when you're going to have to go through the back anyway to take out Argus.
It's like Gem is agreeing with you and headed to the back first. As we see Sawney headed over towards Spike Cave. One other thing that we should be keeping our eye out for are another sword would be really nice to have. Silvers would certainly be nice to have. You at least want to find 1 of those things, at the very least.
All right, so Sawney using the fairy there to get through Spike Cave, conserving the magic. And yeah, Gem has found both the map and the compass, so there are 2 items on the left side of Swamp.
Ooh, I haven't seen the dash poke strats with the Master Sword before. That's slick.
Yeah, Gem is doing this fight faster than a Master Sword Argus has any right to be. That's very nicely done.
Another thing that I'd like to learn, those dash poke strats. These are very, very fun, very swag, and very effective.
Second phase of Argus, very slow without either fire or ice rod. Very rare that you see that. And
yep.
And
Gem
here yet.
Gem is going to head, of course, back into Swamp. We're really just looking for the Fire Rod. There is not much else out there that isn't a fetch quest. Gem is probably going to head back in here to check the 2 items that we are going to see over there on the left side of Swamp.
Yeah, gems down to, I think, Pyramid, the Pendant Mire dip. No, wait, we can't get Independent Mire because it's Quake required.
That's right.
So yeah, it's Pyramid, Mushroom, and left side of Swamp at this point. And it makes the most sense to go right back into Swamp right away, since you've already paid the toll of mirroring and draining the water at the dam in the Light World. It's just minimizes the amount of time it takes to do these checks to do them right now. Oh, good point from chat. We have not been back to Kakarika, Village of Outcasts, rather, to check hammer pegs since we found that hammer.
Yeah, that is another check that we might see here coming up. It's going to depend on what these two items in left side Swamp are. Looking for the fire rod. Oh, Gem having a little bit of trouble with that lever there. Levers are tricky, I understand. Fire rod is our go mode here. But we could still see another item to kind of lead us into a different direction. Bombos would get us over into Ice Palace. The book opens up a few checks. We'll see how that goes.
That's another new strat for me. Gem hookshotting and somehow hooking onto the skull on that sort of middle island in the main room of Swamp.
I didn't say anything because I almost didn't believe what I saw. That's pretty cool. Oh, yep. See, there's our book. That opens up a couple checks. And 5 rupees. So Gem is going to probably head over to Bombo's tablet right here, really hoping for that fire rod. Fire rod is going to be go mode. Yeah, pedestal has not been checked, but Ped is dead. Fire Rod cannot be on the pedestal since Turtle Rock is a pen. Sawney making the choice to go do left side Swamp first.
So yeah, that will save just a little bit of time. Gem is headed up toward the Big Bomb shop. So we'll see Pyramid Fairy next out of him.
Oh yeah, chat pointing out that if we find the Bombos medallion, one Sahasrara might have the fire rod, that Bombos medallion getting us into Ice Rod with the green pendant there. That would be rude, to say the least.
Gem showing us some more nice tech with the Big Bomb. So two different things just happened there. Number one is that if you start a dash right after you take damage, you can dash with the Big Bomb. And then the second one was a bomb dupe that if you do a screen transition sort of at just the right time as the countdown on the Big Bomb goes to 0, it will just warp the bomb back to you for some reason. So making use of those little glitches to make that Big Bomb turn in a little bit faster, but not rewarded with any items for it.
Well, Big Bomb, big bust today. Gem headed over to turn in the mushroom. Is this our answer? Is this our go mode fire rod? And there it is! At 1 hour, 13 minutes, 55 seconds, Gem is in Go Mode. This Go Mode brought to you by the Go Mode Podcast, a link to the past Randomizer podcast.
So Gem is ready to finish the game. He is lined up to do Master Sword Silverless. I guess everyone's favorite to watch. Definitely not my favorite to do, though. Certainly a chance we could find some upgrades to our weaponry on the trek up Ganon's tower. Question in chat. I'm trying to remember where that mushroom was. I think that might have been somewhere on Death Mountain.
It was in Paradox Cave.
Oh, okay.
Gem taking down Mothula with the hammer for that final crystal.
A nice simultaneous crystal grab from our runners, but Gem, one whole dungeon ahead, has just finished his 7th crystal and is on his way to Ganon's tower. That means we can start the Ganon's tower big key guessing game. There are 22 locations in the GT basement where that big key might be, so get your guesses in chat now that Tyler Salt has started that guessing game for us. And see if you get lucky.
CPB, what's your go-to check? Oh, what's your go-to number here?
I've been going 11 recently.
I'm always a 1 guy. This way I know whether I've won or lost very early, and I like to be nice to the runners.
You just like to cut the suspense right away, then?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just let's just get it out of the way, and then we can focus on other things.
And not surprisingly, Sawneyrath is following that same route, headed up toward the Pyramid Ferry as well.
Of course, hopefully for his sake, he will head over to the witch's hut afterwards. You know that is the answer. That is where that fire rod is. Oh, as we discussed this earlier in a discussion of how the can of soda could swim, I believe my answer was that it actually does have like hundreds of tiny arms.
Yeah, Tiny Hands is now canonical.
Get those last second guesses in. Big 20 and a key here in Hope Room. With that key gem, we'll head over and check the full right side. Oh no, Sonny, no, it's Witch's Hut.
Yeah, Sawney has not been to the front of Skull Woods yet.
This is an absolutely defensible play, considering he hasn't been in there yet. Unfortunately, we just know it is the wrong one. As Compass Room comes up blank, it's chests 3 through 6.
Yeah, also don't think Sawney checked Bumper Ledge before, but since they have the cape now, that would be accessible.
Oh, and there it is on the torch. That is number 7.
Man, you would have won if Gem had just gone left for us, but...
Well, I blame Jen then. Congratulations to Wildfire, the first person to guess 7 and scored 27 points in Speed Gaming. Ganon Tower Big Key leaderboard. Congrats also to Zero Boost, Telonius TD, who also scored correct. Get 5 bonus points for you.
So yeah, Gem making a couple of extra checks there in the basement, looking for probably tempered sword, especially. Probably more worried about that than silvers, just time-wise.
Yeah,
but did not find anything in. Go ahead.
Yeah, nothing there. Sorry about that. This is difficult. This is hard to do, folks.
Yeah, there's a reason why they put regular sports broadcasters in the same room as each other, but that's not so easy to do over the internet.
No, it is not. But Gem, we'll see if Gem opens up the chests up here at the top of the gauntlet, or if he just resigns himself to Master Sword Silverless Ganon. We shall see. I hope for everybody's sake that he finds a sword, except for his fantasy owners, of course.
Right, so Gem is in room number 4 of the gauntlet, about to head into number 5. Has made pretty quick work of this, but is low on health. We'll see if he stops to refill with Powdered Fairy at any point along the way.
Don't want to do it right there if you can avoid it, because it makes this land mode powdering that bunny beam makes the land mode 2 fight a little bit more difficult. They all end up spawning at the same time for reasons passing understanding.
Something super tiles, I think, but we did see on Gem's menu there that he does have a fairy in a bottle.
Ooh. Very, very nice land mode 2 there. As Gem heads into the 2 most satisfying rooms in Randomizer, the Wizrobe Cane of Samaria rooms. Wasn't a perfect landmo, but he was on like 2 hearts, so he got through it. It was nice. It was good.
Yeah, sometimes you watch really good runners and you're just like, man, they're really good at this game. That one actively makes me angry that Gem also knows the layout of the invisible blocks in that room, and so could just walk over and pick up that full magic.
What a show off, this guy.
Why is he so good at this game? I don't like it.
Completely unacceptable. I'm going to open up these top 4 chests here, really hoping for a tempered sword. Nothing there so far. He'll get this health refill. Another heart container for good measure. One more chest for Gem. Moldorm's last possessions here.
All right, so we are locked into Master Sword Silverless for Gem to finish out this seed.
If I am not mistaken, that is a whopping 48 spins with the Master Sword. Ganon only takes damage from spins.
Ooh, nice
Very
triple
nice.
to start the Aga 2.
Very nice triple to start Aghanim 2. Sawney finally making his way over to the Witch's Hut to pick up his Fire Rod and get into go mode at 1 hour, 25 minutes, 27 seconds. But Gem headed into the Ganon fight. Time for the big pig on Gem's side.
So Gem finding a nice spot in the corner to get a couple of double spins off there on Ganon. As Sawney is, of course, beelining toward that Mothula fight in Skull Woods.
Gem pulling out the cape there. One of my favorite safety strats against Ganon. Pull out that cape. If you spam the sword, of course, while you have the cape on. It doesn't work with Master Sword, obviously, because you got to do spins. But spamming the sword when you got the cape, and the magic just forgets to go down. It's nice.
Yeah, also works grabbing the wall for no discernible reason.
That's always fun tile room strat. We are almost to phase 4 of Ganon. Did you find the silver arrows in Turtle Rock? No, we did not.
And Gem getting that torch glitch.
24 spins with the Master Sword. Getting that torch glitch is critical for a silverless.
And I forget our potion situation. I'm pretty sure we picked up a green at some point. Gem pulling out a blue potion there as well to refill the magic. Gem's doing very nicely at getting 3 spins off per lighting of the torch.
That is the maximum number that you can manage per torch cycle. As Sawneyrath takes down Mothula and is headed up to Ganon's tower. Unfortunately, we're gonna be too little too late as Gem puts in the last spin. Down goes Ganon. Get your GGs in chat for Gem. He will be the winner of this match in week 1 of the ALTTPR League. That is an official SRL time of 1 hour, 29 minutes, 23 seconds. GG to Gem. Very well done.
Yeah, Gem had to clear out a lot of this seed, basically everything except the pendant dungeons, and Master Sword Silverless, and still finishing sub 130. A very nice run from Gem. And Sawneyrath is right behind as well, on his way to GT right now. Just got a little bit behind in finding that fire rod, and Gem's strong execution pulled out the win for him today.
Unfortunately, we got word that Gem is not going to be able to stick around for an interview. Hopefully, we can get Sawneyrath on here once he is finished. Classic Gem trying to find a sword or silvers to limit the number of fantasy points that people get. Classic.
This is a good time, by the way, to just remind you all to give these runners a follow. They are putting out great rando content and put themselves out there to do this race for you today, put on a great show for us. So if you want to head over to their channels and give them a follow, that would be very much appreciated. And also, we thank you for your support here on the Speed Gaming channels, where, of course, we have tons of rando action, including lots more league matches that are going to be going on probably every day for the next 7 weeks, would be my guess.
Certainly seems that way, with 64 teams, 192 runners in this season 2 of the ALTTPR League. See if Sawneyrath can pick up some time. If he goes left first, gets that gets the big key on the torch in Ganon's Tower. Nope. Ooh. Galaxy Brain play here from Sawneyrath. Gets the key, decides to switch sides. He will be rewarded for that with the big key. But he will continue on a little bit in the hopes that he finds another sword or the silver arrows. He's not going to find the silver arrows, but we still have not seen. Maybe a tempered sword is in here. Entirely possible. We'll see how deep into the basement he goes looking for that.
Yeah, making the same play as Gem, thinking that one more room for those 4 extra chests was worth it, but no more than that.
Well, hopefully Sonny has practiced his Master Sword Silverless Ganon fight because he is headed there now as he starts to make his way to the gauntlet.
The seed is reminding me that I need to practice my Master Sword Silverless fight.
Hard same. There's always the hope. The hope never happens that you can just dash through there on one go. I'm not even sure if it's possible to do that. Those balls are random, I do believe, there in that room.
Yeah, I don't know what the RNG patterns are like there, if it's limited or if it's just totally all over the place. Because there are some rooms like the Pokey Room in Turtle Rock. There's a lot of different things they could do, but there are like I think there are 16 of them, and so you can sort of practice all 16 if you want to get really good at NMG or something. So yeah, I don't know if it's a similar thing in Ganon Ball Z or not.
I found that generally in the desert ballroom, like I think it's like one sword slash followed by a dash will often get you through there. So Sawneyrath is going to get that fairy, so you can see then how all three of these landmos end up sort of on the same cycle there, because as CPB put it so eloquently when Jem made it through this room, something super tiles something.
Did a pretty nice job of wearing down the 3 landmo heads there, and then finishing them off with the fire rod.
Yeah, absolutely. I honestly, I'm saying that it might have absolutely nothing to do with super tiles there, with the landmo and how they end up on the same cycle if you dilly dally in that room with the bunny beam. But you may as well, for all I know, have just said a wizard did it.
Yeah, I think it's just something about how the room has, or the game has 4 rooms loaded at a time, and so it sort of is aware of the landmos in the next room when you're in the previous room. But yeah, it's weird. This is also why you get weird stuff like in Boss Shuffle, if there's a Trinex in place of Landmo 2, then you sort of see the outline of the shell in the previous room. Same thing with Helmasaur in there. Just, weird stuff like that happens from time to time. And also, I mean, Aghanim is at the top of this tower, so maybe a wizard did do it.
Honestly, that's just science.
You heard it here first. Wizards, they're just science.
If you are enjoying the league, stick around. There are lots more matches coming up here today, and all week. Probably lots of matches for the next 7 weeks. Next week, as I mentioned, week number 2 of the league. These runners, all the runners, will be playing Ambrosia. An Ambrosia preset is where it's short sword, standard opening. When he wakes you up, the uncle will spoil the location of the Pegasus boots, and then in every dungeon, the boss of the dungeon is guaranteed to have some kind of item. So not the map or the compass, or the big key or a small key or something like that. There. So those can be fun. Next week, Friday will do an interview if we win. We'll be playing the Talking Heads, and Super Solid Engineers will be up against Team OP Get Good in the Village of Outcasts division.
And Sonic gets through that Aga 2 fight very nicely, and will head toward his Ganon Master Sword Silverless fight. Seems like we're going to take a quick trip to stock up on some potions first. Again, very necessary for this Master Sword Silverless fight. It is possible to do it perfectly with just one full bar of magic and the lamp, but it's extremely difficult to do. I believe that's phase 1. And about 2/3 of the way through phase 2 there.
Woo! My heart skipped a beat there, down to half a heart before using that poke.
Sonic's definitely through the worst of this fight at this point. We'll need to use another blue potion to get some magic back before lighting the torch, though. Sony is very careful to get that torch glitch.
Yeah, smart to do that with the lamp. That's my preferred method. You can do it with the fire rod. The timing is much more difficult considering you gotta you gotta time it right. You can't just spam the Y button like you can.
I gotta say, I've also never understood in this game why you can maintain your sword spin through a fire rod shot, but not a lamp usage. But it's a choice the developers made, I guess.
Maybe the lamp is so heavy that you need both hands to use it.
Sonny has to begin some triples in, even with lamp lightings of the torch, though, which is not easy to do.
Yeah, yikes. That's awfully close there. A hug. I want to send him right into the hole there. That would have been very sad.
I have definitely lost count, but we have to be close here.
I was just about to say the same thing.
There we go. So get your GGs in chat for Sawneyrath11 finishing off this very difficult seed and taking down the big pig. GGs to Sawny.
GG.
So we will see if we can get Sawneyrath to join us here in the Discord to talk to us a bit about that seed.
Looks like he is here. GG, Sonny.
Thank you. I am still slightly stressed after that Ganon fight.
It is not a fun time. Master Sword Silverless Ganon is very stressful for sure.
Yeah, and that and forgetting about Mushroom, but that's beside the point.
I was going to ask, the mushroom was kind of sitting up there. It was the only useful thing over there on East Death Mountain, with the exception of the hook shot in Spike Cave. So I don't blame you for forgetting about it, to be honest. That is there in the, it's there in a mountain of trash. Very easy to forget about doing that.
Oh, very much so. But, in the end, win or lose, I'm playing to have fun. And this seed was a ton of fun. Early game was really, really nice to us. And, I mean, even late game wasn't all that bad. I know where I screwed up. And, oh, well, what can I do about it?
Nothing is what you can do about it. So great attitude. Very good. Nice to not have to dip too hard into any of the pendant dungeons too. Like we didn't even set foot in two of them, and Turtle Rock was locked by the fire rod, so we only had that one chest in there. Always nice when you can skip.
Oh yeah, I mean I did go into TR to check the one chest because I was like, all right, I'm looking for fire rod. I'm gonna make the stupid gambles, completely forgetting I had mushroom. Because stupid gambles, why not?
I think all the choices that you made, I think were totally defensible. Just didn't happen to work out for you that well this year. Although I got to say, 144 is a really, really good time. I have to say, so very, very good. I guess officially on SRL, the time was 144.43. So very good time.
I wish I had delayed it by one more second, so that way it could have been 1 and then 4 4s.
That would have been nice. Something to work on for next time, I guess.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, routing wise, I think you and Jem pretty much made the same choices. I mean, you were just kind of right on each other's heels the whole time, through most of the seed. It was just those kind of one-off checks at the end that really bit you routing wise.
Yeah, I felt really, really good about my routing until that very end with the mushroom. But, it's good to know that I can come back to the game after not playing in any sort of tournament since V28 or V29, I forget which, and still be able to play extremely well.
Oh, there you go. That's really good. I also kind of came back to the league after a decent time away, and it's like riding a bike. You get a couple seats under your belt, and you're back.
Absolutely.
So, sorry, what are you looking forward to the most over the course of the rest of the league season? I don't know if your team has figured out who's playing what weeks or anything that you're looking forward to taking on.
So I've got next week as well as the last 2 weeks to play, and right now, Standard is one of my more played modes. So I'm really looking forward to that, as well as the co-op info share week.
Yeah, those. So for those of you who don't know, week 6 and week 7 in the in the league. The last 2 weeks of the regular season are both kind of co-op modes. In week 6, it's a spoiler with a pilot, and so one player from the team will be running and controlling a Link. The other one will have a spoiler log. I've heard this referred to as keep talking and nobody last locations there. So you'll have a pilot and a racer there in week number 6. That should be a lot of fun. I'm also looking forward to that for my games. Week 7 is as Johnny mentioned, a co-op info share where 2 teammates are playing the same seed, and they will be in a voice chat sharing information back and forth. And then whichever team has the lower average time between the 2 finishers, between their 2 members, will take home the win in those leagues. Those are weeks 6 and 7, the weeks of, if I did my math correctly, April 6th and April 13th. Coming up there for the league. So keep an eye out for those.
Yeah, and I think I will be matched up against the Super Salty Dungeoneers during that week 6. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
Ooh.
If you're playing, then you and I are going to be playing.
Yep. I don't know if we should start the trash talk already or if we'll save that for another time.
Well,
no, please start trash talking right now. That's what I want to hear. I think that's the content that everybody.
Yeah, I didn't really have my wrestling promo prepared for this, so
don't worry, I didn't either. But I'm also not one to really trash talk.
All right. So coming up here on the league, anything else? Any other last thoughts here, Sonny, before we do plugs and head out?
No, it felt really good to race against one of the best runners in the randomizer, and for the most part, stay on pace. I'm really happy with how things went, even with last locationing that fire rod. I am still absolutely happy with everything.
You absolutely should. You played great and did very, very well. Gem a little bit better today, but that's rando for you. GG once again to you, Sawneyrath.
Thank you.
So if you want more league action right now over on Speed Gaming 3, we have a match going on between the Noble Foxes and a team whose name is in German that I am not going to butcher on the air. At 4:10 Eastern, we have over on Speed Gaming 3 as well. We have Yoshi's on Skis versus Team OP Get Good, as well as a couple other matches later today at 8:10, 8:40, and 9:10 on the Speed Gaming family of networks. You can also make sure to follow the league's Twitch channels over at the ALTTPR League, and then 2, 3, and 4, I believe. Also, going on Speed Gaming today, right now, just started, I believe that it was a Untitled Goose Game Glitchless Any Percent tournament. That's over on Speed Gaming 2 right now as well. That should be fun.
Yeah, also some Super Mario Kart tournament action going on later today on one of the Speed Gaming channels. I forget which one it was.
That is Speed Gaming Main there for Super Mario Kart.
Yeah, so just right here in a couple of hours.
And make sure you give some follows to the league. You can check out information to the league there at ALTTPRleague.com. Also, shout outs to Math Girl, pushing buttons behind the scenes. Give her a follow as well. And thank you, Cool Papa Bell, for co-commenting with me on this race.
Absolutely, I had lots of fun, and yeah, we should do this again sometime.
It would be my infinite pleasure to do so.
But yeah, I think that will just about do it for us. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for supporting Speed Gaming, the runners who participate in these great races for us. And thank you all for watching. We will see you next time.
Have a good rest of your day, everybody, and enjoy the rest of that league play.